Hello, my stamping friends. This is Leslie from LuvINK Paper, and I am ready to share a 3-panel card with you. This one you will want a trimmer or something so you can make nice straight cuts after we're done. We're going to do a little coloring first, so not that you have to, but I'm going to, and it's gonna take a couple minutes with the blends. I'm so glad that I see you guys there. I won't in a minute because I've got to sit down, but for now I'm standing up and I can see a few of you, and I can try and touch the little wave button. Anyway, the other day, so this is me, and the other day I showed you, I said that I was working on some cards that used these pretty lacy cards that you can't see very well unless you have cardstock behind them. And you'll see with this one, really a quarter sheet of cardstock with color and a shape, a label with a greeting is all I did to that note card, and it's gorgeous. Okay, so I know, isn't it pretty? So those note cards are really spectacular. Now the cool thing is with this one, if you'll notice, that middle part is gone, but not forgotten, because we used it over here. So with this one, we trimmed out the center. So we just took this part and trimmed it out and left a bigger hole so that our greeting would show through, and then used it to create what looks like a dream catcher on this card, which I thought was pretty phenomenal. So thanks to Tina and Cindy Posnick for who are in they're demonstrator friends of mine. Tina is actually part of my upline. Anyway, they're gorgeous cards that they designed, and I was happy to get them finished. They were projects from the Spring Fling that I did not go to down in New Jersey, but wanted to. And so I bought the to-go packet and got all this stuff. So those are the cards. Aren't they great? And with the retiring list coming out, I am not sure if those note cards will be on there. Those specialty kinds of things, they don't often carry over. So if you want them, you might want to get them before they're gone. Okay, so because the stamp that I'm using is so big, it's from, nope, not that one. Where did I just put that stamp box? Oh, I was about to sit on it. It was on my chair. It's called Beautifully Braided, and there's a really cool punch that punches this out. Anyway, the ginkgo stamp is huge. And I went to put it on my block and went, oh, that's too big. It's not going to fit. That's a problem. So luckily I have my Stamparatus here, and I just put it on there. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put my mounting tape over here in replacement of the black pad that I want to use. Now, because I'm planning to use the blends, the alcohol markers, which, by the way, you can tell the difference because they're rectangular. They've got like a squarish barrel rather than the round barrel of our regular markers. So anyway, because I'm going to choose to use those to color, this is going to be a little wiggly, sorry guys. I am going to use the Memento black. Now, if I were going to use something else like watercolor pencils or something, I would probably have used StazOn. Okay. One of my, might have been Instagram, I'm not sure. Somewhere I posted a picture that showed the two different blacks and what they're used for. Okay, I will go back and see if I can find that and throw it in here in the group. So I'm going to give that a nice press. Now, the great thing about the Stamparatus is if all this pressure doesn't give me the image I want, it will, and I'm going to do something that you're going to think is a little funny. I'm going to reach in here with my bone folder, and I'm just going to hang on to that paper because the photopolymer stamps can be a little sticky sometimes. Now see, I've got a couple of spots where it didn't stamp all that great, but because it's the Stamparatus, I'll just put it back and go back to those spots and give it a little more pressure. And you guys are probably, if you get motion sickness, please close your eyes, because I am sorry that that's wiggly. This camera stand is not. Oh yeah, much better. See? Filled those right in. All right, so we'll take that out. Now I'm stamping, and this was the, hang on one second. This was the 3 3¾ inch side, and this is the 4¼ Okay, and this is how we're going to cut it. But let's just get this out of the way, and we'll play a little bit. Am I right in the middle? I hope. Yeah, I think you guys should be able to see that. I'm going to start light with this one only because I don't know. I'm going to also use the brush end because I don't know. I've chosen Blackberry Bliss, and that could be really dark, even the light shade. So let's just try that first. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm just going to, I should have done a magic of television and only colored one of these ginkgo leaves while we were on camera, and I should have done the rest before so that you don't have to sit here with this. But you know, feel free to color along depending on what you're using for stamps. Now you could do, if you have a really big bold stamp or a group of stamps. Okay, I don't know if you can see that, but I just went outside the lines. I am choosing not to freak out because we have this great tool to use with those. Now it's a very small bump outside the line. So when you're using the blends, we have this thing, and they call it the color lifter. I prefer to call it the color pusher because it doesn't so much take away the color as it does push it kind of back inside where you want it to be. So if you just kind of go back here behind it a little bit, it's just gonna sort of chase that color back in, and you don't even know it happened. So shh, don't tell anybody. All right, so I'm gonna guess, since that was the light shade, this dark is gonna be really dark. So I'm going to make just a very few, just a little bit of shading in here like that. And I'm just going to go up the middle a little ways like that. Okay. Now, if you haven't used these before, you'll notice that I don't leave them just sitting, waiting. Okay. You definitely want to cap and uncap every time that you want to use a color, because of the alcohol base. You don't want them just sitting open on your desk. They will dry out. Probably not in one use, but it will shorten their lifespan considerably. So cap and uncap, use them, put them away, all of that sort of stuff, so that you end up getting plenty of life out of your blends. So yeah, this is gonna take too long. I should have had another one ready. That's all right. I can color it even once it's chopped up, I think. Because I know you don't want to sit here for 20 more minutes while I finish coloring, because that would be boring. I was talking with a friend of mine when she came to pick up her Technique Tuesday card class packet the other day, and we were talking about videos, and she was giving me some lovely feedback, and I really appreciated it. And we were talking about YouTube videos and Facebook Live videos and stuff that we've watched, and the kind that we like and the kind that we don't like, and what I'm trying to model mine after. And I will tell you, those ones where they spend the first 15 minutes, oh, hi, Susie, hi, Janie, hi, drive me mental. I want to acknowledge that you're here, and I'm super glad you're here, but I'm not going to take 20 minutes to acknowledge everybody, and that just makes me crazy. I end up like I go back and watch it on the replay or something and fast forward through all that crap. So anyway, so I try to have some kind of a balance of greeting you and letting you know that I'm pleased that you're here watching with me and stamping with me, and then getting on with what we're doing. So in the interest of getting on with what we're doing, I'm going to do these very small parts first, the stems. I'm going to leave the last of the blooms, and I'll do those afterwards. There's a little teeny part of stem right there, and there's a little bit more stem down here. There are a couple of ginkgo trees downtown in Keene, and when I was a tutor in first grade, the teacher that I worked with often would, when we did the fall leaves and stuff, they turn a really pretty pale yellow, and she would bring those. We would read a book called Leaf Man by, I think it's Lois Ehlert, and it's a really cool book. And so anyway, we would have the kids make their own leaf creations. So we had rows and just benches lined up with paper and leaves drying between them and stuff for a week out in the hall. And then the kids would create their own. They could go and choose the leaves and things, and it was really fun. All right, so we're going to stop there with the coloring. I will finish it later, but for now, we're going to leave it that way. Here's where you're going to want your trimmer. Okay, so what you're going to do, and you'll notice I went and got my new trimmer from the studio, and that is because I sold my old one to a customer friend of mine who didn't have a trimmer yet and was getting frustrated that she couldn't do some of the things that she was seeing here because she didn't have a paper trimmer. And I said, oh, I have two. I have my new one and my old one. And so anyway, that worked out well. And actually, I have two paper trimmers. Well, now I only have this one. And then I have the other paper cutters, the big ones that I use. So you're going to line up and cut at 1 1/4. Okay, we're going to just cut one piece off. Now we're going to move it over to 1 1/4 again. And you should have 1 1/4 left over. That's the plan. That's why it's 3 3/4. You should get, in theory, you should get 3 pieces that are 1 1/4 inches each. Okay. All right. So then you've got your basic black piece, and you're going to line them back up. And you know what? I'm going to go close to the top because I think I might even find some ribbon down there for the bottom. And then put a punched greeting there. You don't need very much space between them, but you do want to have a little bit of space. But you also want your border around the edge to be as close as you can get it to the same. Okay, so I'm going to just wiggle these over a little bit. Now I'm going to get this all lined up, and then you go, yeah, but now you got to take them off to put the adhesive on. That's true. I'm going to start with the middle one. I think if I can do it without moving any of the others. That wasn't too bad, actually. Okay. And slide that kind of back in. Like that. And then we'll add the two sides. All right. And I'm usually not too super picky, but I do kind of want this to. There we go. I'd say for somebody that did this, sitting down and not looking straight down on it, I did not do too bad. Okay, so then I'm going to take another piece of, do I want black? No. What do I have? All right. Oh. Well, rich raspberry will go nice with that. Okay. I brought home from the studio a selection of punches. Oh, here's the one. Here's the braided one that goes with that stamp. It's very cool. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. I'll punch a chunk out. But let's just do for a moment this. Now we've seen this trick before. Okay. You know my tricks. Yep, I think we're going to go this way. Every once in a while, there'll be a punch that looks better to go this way and go horizontally. But that's not what I want to do with this one. And that is not a scrap I can use for that. Oh, here's one. Hey, Leslie, what do you always tell your people? Yeah, stamp first, then punch. Okay, let's get organized here. Let's go there. Then friendship refreshes the soul. It sure does. All right. There. All right. Use that scrap. There we go. I'll get that out of the way. There's that. So the reason I say stamp first and then punch is twofold. One, it's just a lot easier to line up. And two, if you mess up, you've got the whole other side to use rather than trying to fit it back on that same little piece. Okay, plus it's a lot easier to hang on to if you've got a holder. Now, if you happen to need to use a scrap that's really small, you can do the Post-it note trick. So the Post-it note trick is, let's just pretend I have a little teeny circle punch or something that I want to get out of this. Well, obviously I can't hold that in my punch, it's too small. So what you would do is attach the piece of paper to the sticky part of a Post-it note, and then you've got a handle to hang on so you can get it into the punch. Okay, so that's the Post-it note trick if you don't know that one already. All right. So this is a great way to use your punches to create a mat or a layer behind a greeting or something, even if there isn't a next bigger size. Like with the circles, we have lots of nested sizes, so we can just grab the next size up and punch, and then you've got your mat. But with a lot of our shaped punches, we don't have one the next size up. And if you wiggled and it didn't match up exactly, just trim it off. There was a teeny little bit that I didn't really love. So there you have it. So what I'm going to likely do, and I don't really want to put this all together just yet. This will get dimensionals, but I won't take the backings off yet. Okay. Because I do want to dig around, and I don't want to make you wait while I dig around for old olive ribbon, or ribbon that I can color with the blends old olive. So if I have some vanilla or white or something, I could do that and put that there. And then that is going to go on top of, somebody was watching my video and she was like, oh, I don't have that thing that you use to fold. And I said, yeah, but you've got that thing on the end of your hand. So just use that. It's okay. It's no big deal. Let's get those out of the way. They're cluttering things up. Okay. So you might have wanted to fill yours a little bit more. You could always do this. Cut this piece that's 3 3/4 by, I think it was 4 1/4. Ooh, you're going to get to see my mangy ruler because I don't want to. Yeah, 3 3/4 by 4 1/4. You could always do that with designer series paper. If you had a print that you really liked, you could certainly do that. And so if you wanted it to be fuller, I kind of like that contrast between the white and the black. And it will look really great once I finish those last 3 petals that I'm not going to make you watch me do. All right, so let's just leave you right there. And let's just take this piece right here and show you what this punch does. We're going to unlock it. And because it will be easier, we're going to just fit it right in. Some of you guys may not have ever used one of these border punches, so I can actually show you that real quick. So these ones with lots of parts are sometimes a little hard to do, so you sometimes have to push pretty hard. Now you don't need to even do it upside down, because there are these, I don't know if you can see them, because so there's this pattern on the edge, okay? And what you do is just line it up in there, okay? that. And then punch again. Ooh, that was a hard one. And it will keep it going. Okay, so I could move it down here and use the top set if I wanted to make this a little longer. See? And I could go in and fix that. Okay. So you could make, in theory, you could do a border for a scrapbook page, 12 inches. You could just keep going, which is very cool. So there you go. There's your, that's called the braided punch, and that's in the, leads me to believe that the other 6x6 designer series papers in the color families will not likely carry over. So we'll get new patterns, probably. We don't know, but that's historically what has happened. So that the ones that we have now that have the gingham and the script and the argyle, and there's one other pattern. Oh, it's kind of a wavy, curvy kind of pattern. Anyway, those patterns will, oh, I can show you because I have a package right here. All right, so the prints that are going are these. These happen to be the 1921 in colors. Ooh, that's a bad, we don't want that color combination. That looks awful. So there's this side in the colors. So you've got the diamonds and the wavies, and then on the back you have the gingham and the script. Okay, so we have those patterns in all the color families in the 6x6 paper. The brights is already gone, and because they can't get more from the supplier before the end of the catalog period, which is June, well, May 31st or something like that, they are not going to get more. So they've just turned off that ordering number. Okay. The other thing that they turned off the ordering number for is the basket weave embossing folder. So just an FYI about those two things. So that just gives you a little bit of information that, you know, when it's gone, it's gone. And but the B bundle from the spring catalog is back in stock. So if you were waiting for that to come back into stock, it is orderable again. Okay, it was not for a little bit, but now it is. So so there you go. So that's today's card, the 3-panel card. Now I did a description so that, and it says 3-panel card, and I put the date, and I also dated today's, where I said, hooray, it's Fun Friday, or whatever I said in the post, where I gave the dimensions of the papers that you needed. So hopefully that'll help you guys match them up. Okay, when because what happens in Facebook is if somebody comments on something, it kicks it to the top of the group, and so then things get out of order. So the other thing that you can always do is go over to the side, I think it's the left side, and hit and click on videos, and just the videos should pop up, and then you should be able to scroll down and find the one that you want. Okay. All right, well, that's Friday, and it is time for a glass of wine and some yummy food, and I hope you're finding something fun to do on this Friday evening before we get snow, I hear, which, you know, happens in New England. We don't love it, but the nice thing is it'll probably be gone by Sunday morning or afternoon or something, depending on the temperatures. So that'll be good. All right, well, I will see you next time. On Monday, I'm looking at you wanting to have 3 pieces of designer series paper, and the size, forgot to bring that paper in here. I just watched Jackie Bolheis's video and it was really cute. Anyway, you use 3 pieces of designer series paper, but you mix and match the patterns, so you want them to coordinate and not overwhelm each other. And we're going to end up with, I think it's 4 cards or something, maybe 3 cards. Anyway, we'll play with the patterns and pieces and stuff. So it's sort of like the old color blocking technique where you used different size pieces of colored cardstock to make your background. Okay, that might need to be a technique that I do sometime too. All right, well, take care. It is Joni, I am just seeing that you just asked about Grace's Garden. I think I will double check the date that they're anticipating it being in. That may have been one that is back. So I will shoot you an email or comment back to you and let you know after I've checked the website and found out about that. Okay. All right. Well, take care, you guys. Have a great weekend, and I hope I will see you on Monday. Bye bye.